Live from ABC 7, your Suncoast News. This is ABC 7 News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm John McQuiston. It has been a violent 24 hours on the Suncoast, including the city of Sarasota's first 2 murders of the year. They happened in a shooting early this morning in Newtown. ABC 7's Jennifer Schwan joins us now with more. Jennifer?
John, Sarasota police found the victims' bodies around 3 o'clock this morning in the 1700 block of Carver Court. Police hope that people in the community will tell them something that can help them solve the case. A quiet street now, but earlier this morning, the 1700 block of Carver and Gore Court was the scene of a double homicide.
We received a 911 call, and the caller advised that there was a male subject laying on the ground bleeding.
When officers arrived, they found that man and 50 feet away, another man down.
Unfortunately, they were both deceased.
People in the neighborhood did not want to appear on camera, but they say that they heard what sounded like machine gun fire, then sirens wailing.
We have obviously had people who heard and saw things, and we've been interviewing anybody who might have information and continue to look for more people with information.
The victims are white males said to be in their 20s.
They had definitely died as a result of violence, and that's why the case is being worked as a homicide.
Again, the police department is asking anyone who may have any information to call the Sarasota Police Department at 954-7025. John?
Jennifer Schwan reporting for us tonight. Thank you. Manatee County saw its share of violence. A 15-year-old Bradenton boy walking home winds up going to the hospital instead with a stab wound in the back. It happened around 9 last night on 10th Street in Bradenton. Manatee Sheriff's deputies say the 15-year-old was walking when 2 males dressed in all black approached him. One of them held something against the teen's midsection while the other came behind him and stabbed him in the back. The assailants took off. Rescuers took the teen to All Children's Hospital. Police in Bradenton say a Bradenton man barricaded himself inside his home before surrendering peacefully. It happened at this home in the 5200 block of 41st Avenue. Manatee Sheriff's deputies say 59-year-old Thomas Parks was fighting with neighbors when he went inside his home and started arguing with his wife. He threatened her with a sword and a shotgun, police say. She escaped and called police when they got there. Parks said they'd have to shoot him in the head to get him out. But deputies talked him into giving up without a fight. Parks faces charges of aggravated domestic assault. It might not be a violent death, but something called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, kills as surely as any gun. No one knows its cause. No one has found a cure, but many people know someone affected by ALS, also called Lou Gehrig's disease. And hundreds gathered at Payne Park for a walk to raise money and awareness. Because ALS progressively paralyzes its victims, not everyone in the walk can walk. It's a day for people to rally around not only those who have the disease, but their loved ones who live with its effects. Last year's walk raised more than $70,000. Mark Twain once called golf a good walk spoiled. From that, you'd guess that A, Mark Twain did not play golf very well, B, he never had the luxury of a golf cart, and C, he never played in a charity event. Because if you're playing in a benefit event, no matter how badly you play, some good can come out of it. That's the case at Heritage Oaks Golf and Country Club in Sarasota today. 88 golfers teed it up to raise money for Face Autism. That's an organization on the Suncoast that puts on events for autistic children, such as skating events, sensory-friendly films, and social skills classes. This is the 3rd year of the tournament, and it's Face Autism's biggest fundraiser of the year. The Meadows Cup has run now for 15 years in a row. In this one, foursomes ponied up $1,500 apiece to play around to benefit Easter Seals of Southwest Florida. The event has raised more than $1 million over the years. Money stays on the Suncoast and goes to everything from medical therapy to social work skills training for children and adults with disabilities.
You know, Easter Seals does a lot of things that people don't know about. They do all the rehabilitative services for children, adults, teenagers. The services they provide are amazing, and this just helps them with their cause.
Easter Seals programs benefit more than 1,000 children and adults on the Suncoast. Another sunny Suncoast day to enjoy the golf. If it was spoiled, it was not by the weather. We go to Meredith Garfalo for a first check of the official Suncoast forecast.
Thanks, John. It wasn't too bad of a day, and then we had some clouds move in with the cold front that moved through over the past hour. Winds have picked up, though. It's 13 miles an hour now. It was a little bit windier earlier. We got up to even 20 miles an hour, so it was a pretty windy day, and that will continue for us as we get into the evening hours, but not as crazy as the cold front up north. All of these storms, a lot of them produced tornadoes, so it was a very, very active day. very dangerous, lots of damage. In Raleigh, North Carolina even got to see some of that tornado action. But down here, again, it's mild for us this evening. Temperatures are in the upper 70s to the low 80s at this hour. 80 in Tacoma, 79 in Gator Creek, as well as Heritage Oaks, 79 for us here in Sarasota. And our temperatures are again staying in the upper 70s as you head down the Sun Coast. Evening planner is going to stay pretty mild. All those clouds are going to start to clear as we get into your overnight hour, and our lows are going to drop into the 60s eventually, so it's going to be a gorgeous night to get outside. I'll let you know if we're going to see any other chances of rain this weekend, John. That's all coming up in the first forecast later.
All right, Meredith, thank you. Now a story about airplanes whose pilots stay on the ground. The 2011 Sarasota Airfair features supersized models. It's going on this weekend at the Sarasota Radio Squadron Airplane Flying Field. The planes, that is, are radio controlled and are 80 inches or longer. That's about 6.5 feet long. Strong winds across the Sun Coast kept many of the planes grounded today, and those who did brave the winds suffered damage to their planes. It is the 18th straight year the event has happened on the Sun Coast. Organizers say it's a great time to learn about these kinds of planes.
Knowledge gets gained from other guys and builders, and this event's more related to giant size model airplanes, 80 inches or bigger. And so it's a group of people in the IMA that are pretty big builders and competitors in different events.
The event continues tomorrow morning. It's free to the public, and planes start flying around 9 a.m. if the weather cooperates. People pedaled at a Bradenton cycle studio indoors for more than the sake of their own fitness today. The place called Go Legs on 53rd Avenue West hosted a cycling fundraiser for something called Camp Mariposa. That's a camp for kids ages 9 to 13 who live with drug addicts or alcoholics. Karen Moyer owns the studio. She and her husband, Major League Baseball player Jamie Moyer, operate the Moyer Foundation, which has a Camp Mariposa in Seattle and plans to bring one to the Sun Coast.
I was at the camp recently. I see kids transform into butterflies. It's a beautiful thing to witness. It's important. We need to look at this and take it seriously.
She says that Camp Mariposa should come here sometime this year. Still ahead, authorities in South Florida are on high alert. They're looking for the man they say shot a fellow officer. And we saw it in Meredith's forecast. A strong round of storms continues to make its way across the southeast, leaving behind a deadly mess. Those stories as we continue. Criminals are targeting the elderly in South Florida. A series of beatings and robberies have taken place across Broward County in the past 2 weeks. Authorities believe the attacks are not related. Derek Hayward has that story.
She was walking back from dinner to this North Lauderdale motel Monday night when the 88-year-old from New York says a man who looked like this punched her to the ground.
And then started pulling my purse off my shoulder, and he couldn't get it off, so he grabbed my other arm and flung me on the ground, and it broke my arm near the shoulder.
This was a defenseless woman, 88 years old, very fragile.
On the same day, 25-year-old David Leshinsky is accused of violently robbing an 87-year-old woman in Deerfield Beach. The day before that, these two men, with their arms linked, suddenly attack an 87-year-old man and rob him in Hollywood, beating him to the ground.
And right away, he punched my face. And then I fell down, and then he started kicking me. And I said, geez, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. I was like that, all curled up, and the feet were coming through my arms here when they was kicking me.
12 days earlier, in Pompano Beach, this 89-year-old attacked and robbed.
Don't scream, because I'll kill you. Because I think I had just screamed. Was going to scream, or well, anyway, he said, don't scream, because I'll kill you.
In fact, this man, wanted in the North Lauderdale attack Monday, is wanted for elderly attack number 5 in just 2 weeks. Any thought to any of them are linked?
No, they're all unrelated. It's just an unfortunate coincidence that all of these victims are elderly. There's a certain criminal element who's going to target the most vulnerable population, in this case, the elderly population.
Derek Hayward reporting for us tonight. The most any of the suspects got away with was $3 in cash and a small amount of jewelry. Police in Dade County today searched for a man they say shot an officer. Friday night, the officer was out patrolling when he came across gunfire and apparently ran into it. Police say 24-year-old Dural Miller shot the cop in the foot. Authorities say Miller is obviously armed and is dangerous. Police arrested another person in connection. The officer is expected to recover fully. Deadly storms have killed at least 17 people across the South last night and today. Alabama, Mississippi, and Oklahoma have all declared states of emergency in the wake of as many as 100 tornadoes that caused a wave of destruction. Ninette Sosa has that story.
Wow. This nearby spectator got a surprise when he saw a transformer blow during this severe storm in Alabama. The storms, which originated in Arkansas and Oklahoma, moved through the southeast, killing at least 17 people in the last 2 days. The fast-moving system spawned more than 100 reported tornadoes. Oklahoma, Alabama, and Mississippi all have issued states of emergency, while crews in Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi work to assess the damages. This Alabama woman recounted what happened.
It was very scary. We got in the hallway, and I could hear this, I don't know what kind of noise it was. It was a whizzing, crackling kind, and it scared me.
The storm system could continue to be a threat as it moved north into the Carolinas and Virginia on Saturday. But further south, many residents are left to deal with little more than wreckage and trying to pick up the pieces.
Well, my house was there, and then all of my belongings are over here. Devastation. It was nothing.
I'm Ninette Sosa, reporting in Atlanta.
And as she mentioned, those storms have made their way to North Carolina, packing winds from 60 to 80 miles an hour. Right now, reports say thousands of customers lack power. A tornado watch is in effect for nearly every county in North Carolina until 9 o'clock tonight. And as Meredith joins us, we've been spared that kind of weather, but we get our turn, I guess, in June when we have to sweat out hurricanes, and we have our storm season as well.
Right, it's quiet for us tonight. The cold front's going to move through later. It's going to be a pretty dry cold front. Could see a few sprinkles, but the good news is your Sunday is looking very sunny, and we'll see some warm temperatures in your forecast. The official Suncoast forecast is next on ABC 7 News this weekend. Good evening on your Saturday. Still very mild for us. Humidity is rising and winds are still breezy out of the south-southwest, and that's because we have a front approaching us that will move through overnight, and that'll cool us off a little bit and get rid of some of that humidity. We got up to 82 for our high today, right at average. Our low, though, still very mild, and again tonight we're going to get into the 60s as well, so it'll be a very mild evening overnight, but with those clear skies, that'll help cool us off even quicker than we've seen in the last couple of days. No rain for us today. Again, we could use the rain, but there's none that's heading in our way, and at least right now that cold front will be dry. 80 for us in Sarasota. The further inland you go, very hot at this hour, still 88 in Orlando. It'll be a nice relief once that front does move through and help cool us off. Tonight's lows are going to be in the upper 60s the further south you go, but for us here in Sarasota, we're going to drop down to 65 tonight, as well as Bradenton, 66 in Palmetto, Lakewood Ranch. Will be in the 60s as well too. Tornado watch still up to our north with that cold front. That's going to make its way through, and it's not really going to affect us much aside from bringing some clouds. You can see the clear skies behind. That's going to move in and give us a clear night. See some stars tonight and also a sunny Sunday for you. We'll take a look at the futurecast. Here's that cold front again. That's going to sweep its way through overnight. All we're going to get with it is clouds. Could see a few scattered sprinkles, but nothing major. Again, around 5 a.m. it might get a little bit of rain, but that's going to move through very quickly and bring in behind it some clear skies, except we could see some morning fog for your Monday. And then after that moves off to the west, we'll see a sunny start to your work week, and our temperatures are going to start to warm up very nicely for us once we get that easterly wind back. That'll help pop our temperatures back in the mid to upper 80s for us along the coast, and that means even warmer up to the 90s inland. Upcoming tides, 3 of them sunset tonight will be at 7:55, sunrise at 7:04 tomorrow morning, and a mostly sunny Sunday for you. It'll be mild with our highs in the mid to upper 80s, northwest winds, so those winds will die down for us tomorrow. tomorrow. So if you're out there boating, though, it'll still be around 15 knots. That'll be a moderate chop, seas 2 to 4 feet, and our water temperature sitting right around 80 for us. So great day to go to the beach tomorrow. Again, the winds will finally start to calm down for us as we get into your day. So your Sunday is going to be 82 with sunshine, and then once we get some easterly winds moving back in, 85 on Monday, lots of sunshine, and then an 87. So it'll warm up even nicer for us on Tuesday, and then as we get into your 7-day forecast, again, 87 on Tuesday with the sunshine. And there's not a single day this week that I have rain in my forecast. Temperatures will remain pretty steady in the mid to upper 80s. Our lows will be in the mid to upper 60s. So it'll be very warm for us as we go through your work week. Now, if you want to get the official Suncoast forecast online, get your phone. If you have a Droid, if you have an iPad, iPhone, or even a BlackBerry, you can download the app. It's WWSB. You search for that in the App Store. You can get an interactive radar. You can get our forecast. It's a great app. I have it on my phone, and you can track those storms as they come through, but it'll be pretty sunny, so not much to track over the next couple of days, John.
I think I'll just stay outside. There you go. All we have to do. The Rays, they've been looking like a real baseball team lately. They actually have. 4 in a row they've won, 5 out of their last 7. And Evan Longoria was back on the field today for the Rays, but not for the reasons they needed him. While the Miami Heat fell way behind to the 76ers in their first playoff game with the 3 Kings. We will tell you if they were able to come back. Coming up next in sports.
You're watching ABC 7 with Sports Director Don Brennan. This is ABC 7 Sports.
The Big 3 in Miami are finally in the postseason, where they hope to shut all the mouths of the naysayers who want nothing more than to see them fail. But Pat Riley says you must be a team, and 3 players does not a team make. So they had to have their teammates with them, and their teammates weren't really helping. Was the Jody Meeks going to hit the 3-pointer for the Sixers, putting them up by 14 in the first quarter. The naysayers were smiling, but Chris Bosh, pass from D. Wade, he pulls the Heat within 4. He had 25 points and 12 rebounds, Bosh did. Not a big postseason guy before this. Then Dwayne Wade gives them a 4-point lead as he drives in. He had 17 points in the game. LeBron James got into the act. Another feed from Wade, or missed. He put back from a Wade miss. He had 21 points, 14 rebounds. There were some tense moments in the second half, but the Heat built a 16-point lead. The Sixers came back to tie, but the Heat won 97-89 to take Game 1.
You know, we took some shots, but we didn't take great shots. But you know, this team right here is scrappy. You know, we said that we know it's going to be a scrappy series. It should never got that close, but you know what? We made the plays to win.
The Bulls are the #1 seed, and they took on the Pacers, and there was a scary moment for the Pacers and Tyler Hansbrough out of North Carolina. So he takes an elbow from former #1 Heat draft pick Kurt Thomas. Watch it again. He went down to the floor. He was hurting. I can't believe Kurt's still in the league. That was like 95. He was their top pick, the Heat. But he was always a good rebounder and a good elbower. Hansbrough came back, though. He makes a steal. He goes in coast to coast, and he gets hard fouled from Carlos Boozer, but he lands on his feet, gets the pass. They were up by 10, gets a foul shot. But Derrick Rose, after all. He had 39 points as they came back to win. The Bulls did 104-99 to go up 1-0. And Vito Roberto, Bobby Colby, Dave Ruttenberg, and Chris Guvas finished 3rd today in the Venice Little League Golf Tournament, which makes sense because they're all Little League golfers, if you know what I'm talking about. The whole crew, they were 14 under par. They sent this pick from Lake Venice Golf Course to our See It, Shoot It, Send It. And you, too, can see it, shoot it, send it if you get video or pictures from your travels out and about on the Suncoast. So send us them, and we'll put them on. Evan Longoria was awarded his 2010 Gold Glove prior to today's game with the Twins, but unfortunately Longo could not use it as he's still rehabbing his oblique injury. The Rays, well, they were back to their 1 run on 4 hits deal. They were down 3-1 going into the 8th, but Matt Joyce singled in Reed Brignac to cut it to 3-2. It's 3-2 in the 9th. Twins are winning. The Rangers and Yankees with Freddie Garcia on the hill for the Bombers. And Mark Teixeira can be a pitcher's best friend, both with his glove and his bat. And right here, he uses his bat to hit a 2-run homer to give Garcia some wiggle room. It was a freezing, wet, rainy day up in New York, and nobody wanted to be playing baseball, that's for sure. And the Rangers would get robbed by A-Rod here. The Yankees flashing the leather. He makes a nice play there on Elvis Andrus. And then Nick Swisher, too, battling the elements out in right field. No Dr. Strangelove see. Here he goes. Yang gets it and battles the win. Garcia was even better than his defense. 2 hits in 6 innings as the Yankees needed a pitcher to step up with Phil Hughes going on the DL. Yankees won it 5-2. And the Red Sox and Blue Jays, Josh Beckett pitching better of late, especially against the Yankees last week, and he got great defense, too, from the $154 million man, Adrian Gonzalez, with the nice play down the first base line, hooks up with Beckett to get the out. He also had an RBI, Gonzalez did, and Jed Lowry in for a struggling Carl Crawford. Makes this a very smart move as he hits a 2-run homer for a 4-1 Sox lead. The Sox move to 3-10 on the year after a 4-1 win over the Blue Jays. So they're looking, well, Beckett's looking better, so that'll help them.
I didn't think that we'd be looking at the Red Sox saving the Rays from being the last place team in their division.
Yeah, but the Rays 4 straight, 5 out of 7, and if they can come back from this 3-2 deficit in the 9th, you know, they'll be right back in there.
And well, Joe Madden cautioned against giving up in the season after the first week. I mean, it's 6 games. It's tough to lose at the beginning of the season, but it is still just 6 games out of 162.
Yeah, what were the Patriots, 1-3 in the 2001 season, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl with Tom Brady? Come on. It's early yet.
All right, Don, thanks much. We have more to come here on ABC 7. Stay with us. Fans of the Miami Heat are literally sitting for seats. These hardcore Heat fans have to sit outside the arena for 48 hours. They are not allowed to get up at any point during the 2 days. The fans say it's harder than they thought it would be. Whoever wins will get lower level tickets for the Heat's playoff series against the Philadelphia 76ers. This story brought to you by Depends. Thank you for watching us. We'll be back tonight at 11 here on ABC 7. Have a great night.
Here's what's coming up tonight on ABC 7.